Welcome, survivors, seekers, and thrivers. I'm your host, Shari Leigh Roberts, psychic medium, energy healer, and living proof that you can transform your pain into power. Each episode, we dive into trauma healing, developing your intuitive gifts, and reclaiming your life. Get ready for real stories, deep wisdom, and a little laughter along the way.
Welcome, Tracy Smaldino. This is one of our warrior sisters who have endured unbelievable trauma, but who has turned that into her super power. Welcome, girl. Thank you for being here, and I neglected to mention you are the host of Trauma Rock Stars podcast, and what truly connects us is our sense of humor that was born and cultivated as a result of our trauma. Girl, thank you. Wonderful to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you and your beautiful audience and let people see that I'm getting a little emotional because I want people to see how amazing life can be when you get to the other side of your trauma.
Yeah.
And I'm the poster picture of it.
We both are. Before we talk about the other side, can you just give a brief synopsis of what you endured and at what year or point did you say, I'm no longer a victim, I am a survivor and warrior?
Yeah, I'll give you a summary and then you can ask me whatever questions you want. When I was 12 years old, I was actually the only survivor of a horrific auto accident. Both my cousins didn't make it. I was burned on 70% of my body, amongst several other injuries besides the burns. I had a severe head injury. I was in a coma. I didn't even know my own name. I had to learn how to read, write, walk all over again. Not to mention the burns didn't kill me. 70% of my body, they were second and third degree burns. So when you're a burn survivor, your journey never ends. Because the burns, they affect you your entire life. I'm still affected by them to this day, and it's been decades. And that was when I was 12. Fast forward about 3, 4 years later, I was at a high school party and just trying to be a normal kid, a normal teenager, high school kid, was with people I trusted, but you never know who's going to be at a high school party.
Right.
Um, and I was drugged and sexual and gang raped at the high school party. Um, Everybody knew my story, so I don't want to say I was targeted, but everybody knew my story. So, because when I had my accident and lost my cousins and everything, it was a very, very high profile case. The police were involved, it was all over the news. I mean, and every year on the anniversary, the news would re-air it. So when the assault happened, the last thing I wanted to do was involve the police.
Yeah.
I had all, not that I have anything against the police, but I didn't want that in my life again. And I was completely, of course, ashamed, even though I know I didn't do anything wrong. I was completely ashamed, and I knew my parents would have pulled me out of school, pulled me out of high school, and that's where all my friends were. So I figured if I forget about it, it'll just go away. And I did that for 4 decades. My About in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I started meditating. And that really opened a little peek into a new world for me, a little tiny peek. And I started getting the meditation happened quickly. I started getting downloads of information. And I, at the time, oh, do you have a question?
Yeah. I too was saved by
Mhm.
meditation. Can you share how you came to meditate? What year? What was happening in your life? Yeah.
There was nothing specific that was like, oh, you need to meditate. But the pandemic hit, and it provided, as horrible as it was, it also provided an opportunity for us to slow down
Mhm.
and to kind of relook at our lives and our relationships. And I was actually engaged at the time.
Oh.
And I had just moved. I was getting ready to move to Florida, where I live now in Florida. And when I moved to Florida, I don't know what it is, but something about being here just kind of, I just felt really welcoming and open to whatever the universe was going to give me. And so I started meditating more because meditation's very frustrating. They call it a
Yeah.
practice for a reason. And
Yeah.
so, and I still have very frustrating meditation sets, but I started meditating more and I started getting more information, and I found some guided meditations on
Mm.
YouTube
Yeah.
that with some people that I really resonated with. And so I kind of dove all in, and I started getting messages about my relationship that I was in and
Mm.
realizing that this wasn't the right person for me.
Yeah.
We were engaged. I ended up calling off the engagement. And when I called off the engagement, it opened up space for me in my life to get more information. And at this point, I wasn't even really like, I need to heal. I hadn't even been thinking. I never dealt with my trauma at this point.
Yeah.
After I got out of this relationship is when things really shifted. And I started meditating. And I think that when you concentrate on where you're putting your energy deposits, it opens up space for the universe and God to start bringing answers. So very quickly after that, and it was through a meditation, I met my inner child.
Mm.
And
Oh,
yeah, when you, when I met my inner child for the first time, I realized that I was an absolute disaster. I was a mess, that I had never dealt with anything that I had been through, that I had been suppressing everything for years. And when I looked at that little girl, I just, it shattered me because it was sad, but it was a beautiful experience in the same way because I never knew this existed. I never knew what that was. So I was like, holy crap, I'm a mess. I am an absolute mess and I have a lot of work to do. And so I did. I started just doing more meditation, more inner child work. Then all of a sudden I learned about my higher self.
ah,
Oh,
oh, yeah.
when I realized this person existed, my higher self, which is like the most amazing version of yourself you can ever imagine.
Okay, tell the listeners exactly how that happened.
It wasn't intentional.
How, no, but how you knew it was your higher self. And I get that it's never intentional.
Mm-mm.
This all comes as a result of healing,
Mm-hmm.
eliminating heavy energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we can elevate our energetic vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you know what you had acknowledged and released when you finally saw your higher self?
Well, only people that have experienced this can understand what I'm about to say. I didn't even know there was a higher self, even though I had been meditating regularly, had already met my inner child. I didn't know there was such a thing as a higher self. It just
Yeah.
happened. And I think because maybe my guides knew I was ready.
Yeah.
But when I first saw her, I didn't know. I was like, who is this beautiful, amazing creature? I was looking at her like it's almost like, maybe like if you're watching Cinderella walk in, and you're like, who
Yeah.
is this angelic, beautiful creature?
Yeah.
And I see this person, and it took a minute, like for me before I finally realized that's me. That
Yeah.
like that's what I look like. Like that's me.
Yeah.
And it was almost like I probably could have passed out because it was so
Yeah.
intense when I
Mm-hmm.
finally realized it. And it's not like somebody's talking to you. You're not somebody's not standing over you talking to you saying this is your higher self. It comes to you in your mind. It's almost subliminal. And it came to me, and it was brought to me that this was my higher self. And when I realized that she and I, like I could put my hand on her shoulder, while I'm meditating, and she and I could almost like telepathically speak,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
understand each other. And
Yeah.
I started getting these messages from her, saying, this is you. You don't see this when you look in the mirror, but this is you. And I was like, I was awestruck. Like, talk about, what do they say? You get starstruck when you
Yeah.
see like one of your favorite celebrities or something. That's
Yeah.
kind of how it was.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm in a meditation state doing this. And I, that was it. After the first time, that was it. And then I was like, I have to go back to this. So now when I meditate to my higher self a lot, now, but I was like, I've got to go back. I've got to talk to her. I've got to get, and before I knew it, I just started getting the answers. And I realized that I had all the tools and the power within me to
Yeah.
heal. I didn't need
Yeah.
anything else. I didn't need anybody else. And when I realized that, there's like, it's kind of like once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's no turning
Right.
back.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
so funny because and now this was a couple years ago when this happened. It took me a couple years meditating because I wasn't consistent with it at first.
Right.
Then
Right.
when I got consistent with it and I started manifesting more and doing things like that, I was finally ready to meet her. And now, I mean, I could close my eyes and be with her in a second, but it takes practice. But
Yeah.
she made me realize, the inner child made me realize what a mess I was, but my higher self made me realize I had all the tools already I needed to deal with everything I had been through.
Did you at that point of connecting with her, did you think, wow, I want that, I, I, but I can't. I can't go there. Hell no. For me, it happened in a different way. She was across a river saying, come, come,
Mm.
what you need and want is here. And I was like, okay, I want that, but I'm not ready. I couldn't believe
Hmm.
that taking her hand
Hmm.
and jumping over would be okay.
Yeah, for me, it was, I still kind of was in denial in the beginning for a little bit because
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it was really me. Like that was me because I
yeah,
didn't have the self-love.
right.
I didn't look at my reflection and have that self-love yet, but
Yeah.
I started to get hope and I started to feel a light at the end of the tunnel, and I
Yes,
started to really, and meanwhile, I'm not telling anybody about this when I'm going through
right.
these couple years
No,
of this. I just kept this private. And but then I finally, you can't argue your way out of it.
right.
You can't trick your mind out of it.
Yes.
So when I
Yeah.
started to realize that that was me and I had all the power and that that is who I actually really am, I just wasn't allowing myself to be that person in this physical life. I started to look at myself slowly different in the mirror. Because I still have scars all over my body, of course, from the burns,
Right.
but I started to look at myself different and I started to all that the broken relationships and stuff I had, I started giving myself that love I wanted from those.
Ah.
And it was not overnight, it takes a
No.
lot of time, but
Mm-hmm.
once it's kind of like that saying, when you know, you know. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm ready. The universe knew I was ready. And I'm like, I'm going for it. I'm diving in. And the one thing that I will say about healing, you can't heal if you don't go head first into the trauma. You
Right.
can't get through it unless you
No.
go into it.
Right.
There's no faking it. There's no shortcuts. You just have to dive in. But what I want people to know, and that's how I got to the point, I'm like, I'm going for it because you've already been through the worst you've been through. You can handle this. You can handle diving into the trauma and dealing with the feelings and dealing with everything coming out. You've got it. You can do this. So I want people to not be afraid.
But a big part of that time is reconciling that the people in your circle
Ooh, yeah.
won't get it. A lot of them will not get it. Did you um find that, and
Mhm.
how did you deal with it?
That's one of the realizations with going on a healing journey. And I teach about this when I work with people. You have to figure out, I always say, pick the top 5 to 10 people in your life. What are they bringing to your life? Are they bringing you anxiety and stress or joy and happiness? And you've got to be very conscious about where you're putting your energy deposits, especially during your healing journey.
Yep.
So there are you people are going to not understand, and you don't owe people any explanations. But once you identify, okay, I'm just going to make up a name. Say there's this person, Susan, in your life, and this person, Susan, is just toxic. Every time you're around them, you get tension, it's stressed out. You need to distance yourself from that person because when you're going through your healing journey, you have to be number one. And a lot of times they just fall off naturally.
Yeah.
And what that does is and that happened, like I've lost relationships and friendships over it. But what it does is it opens up space for these new
Right.
incredible people to come into your life that are aligned with you now,
Yeah.
that can bring so much to your healing journey. But the biggest tool I learned when I started, I guess, working with my higher self is getting in touch with my body and listening to the cues. So, okay, this person's bringing me stress and anxiety. This person makes me feel light and airy, and getting in touch with the cues because your body, there's a book called Your Body Keeps a Score that's incredible, but your body has the answers way before your mind does. Way before your body knows. You just need to learn how to listen to it. And that's one of the scariest parts because people are like, I don't want to lose my friends and my relationships, but it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
And when you realize it happens naturally, some of it can be hurtful, but it's because you need that. Like your healing journey needs that. And I always tell people, you don't have to cut people out of your life and cut people off. Just let things kind of happen
Yeah.
naturally and you'll see. And and so my circle is very, very small. I have a handful of friends that I would die for that are so dear to me. And but I've had new people come into my life that are incredible that I never knew before. And I'm so excited for the more people that are going to come into my life that I
Yeah.
haven't even met yet.
Yeah.
And it's part of healing and going in head first is these things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But that is not, I want people to look at that as it's a gift. It's
Yeah.
not something to be afraid of. It's not something to be scared of or avoid because it's a gift for you.
And you begin to walk that path
Hmm.
and understand this and allow the attrition to happen. You send them off in love and
Hmm.
light. Part of this journey too is you're on a path. You think things are going to happen a certain way, and they don't.
Hmm.
You're on board, you're like, yep, I'm on board. Okay, God, bring me whatever. And you're like, okay, I wrote my memoir, and now, wow, it's not getting the notoriety I thought it was meant to have. In my earlier self, I'd be like, what the is happening?
Yeah.
I did all that nothing is now I am like it's okay.
Yeah.
The reason for writing it
Hmm.
was about me and my healing, and it will reach people that need to hear it and
Yeah.
read it. So, you are talking about don't be connected to the outcome.
Right. I just actually finished my memoir as well.
Oh,
And I was going to talk about that, and it's coming out by the holidays. It should be
okay.
out by the holidays, end of November, beginning of December. And it's funny, I thought about that too, because of course I think it's fabulous. I think it's awesome, but the people that need to read it will read it. It doesn't need to be a New York Times bestseller. It doesn't need, I just want it to touch the people that need it
Yeah.
and let the universe, whoever needs to open those pages will
Yeah.
get what they need from it. And
Yes.
that's all I care about. And we put for me it was a healing journey. Like when I
Yeah.
started writing, I was never
Was.
going to write a book. But when
No.
yeah, surprise, when I
Yeah.
started writing, after I got done with the first couple chapters, it just flowed out of me. And I really felt like the universe was guiding me through my chapters. And um, I wanted to tell you a little bit though about that because my background is in the music industry. I worked in the music
Oh.
industry for 10 years, and that's where my podcast, Trauma Rock Stars, comes from because of my
Oh.
years in the music industry. So I feel anybody who, when I was trying to think of the name, I was like, anybody who is just trying to be the best version of themselves and better themselves is a rock star. So,
Okay, are you in Tennessee or tell us about your experience in entertainment?
yeah, I was actually a production manager for many, many years. I worked in Las Vegas and LA, and
Wow.
both for many years in the music industry, yes. And I was actually, at the time, the company I worked for, the only female production manager. There aren't a lot of female production managers in the business still to this day.
Wow.
And so I was surrounded by men, pretty much all day in a male-driven field. But it's such an amazing experience working in the music industry. And I started, Trauma Rock Stars was born because of my history. And when I do my episodes, everything around my episodes is based around the music framework for healing. Because everybody loves music, so I feel like people can
Yes.
relate to that, and so
Yes.
I relate everything around music. So when I was writing my book, I was like, I need something that is similar to this because music is such a big part of my life. And I write a lot about my life in the music industry in the book. And there's some juicy chapters. I'm just going to let everybody know. But the book is called Rockstar Resilience. And it's called Rockstar Resilience. You're a hot mess, embrace it and own it. Because that hot mess that you are is your actual secret sauce
Yes.
that is going to make a difference in the world. And so I did that for a long time, and it was when you go through trauma, a lot of trauma survivors work in very busy environments. They live in very loud cities. They like to keep very loud environments. So working in the music industry couldn't have been the more perfect job for me to suppress my trauma because you couldn't get louder and busier than that. And
And trauma survivors are the highest achieving people
Mhm.
among us.
Yeah. And to kind of piggyback on the whole music thing, I actually have created a Spotify channel it's called Trauma Rockstar Songs That Saved Us. And it's a Spotify channel, and it's songs that I love that have gotten me through music that has gotten me through some of my toughest times, as well as my listeners and people.
Tell us your top five songs.
Well, there's quite a bit. And there's a lot on there that other
Uh,
listeners, I want people to
what?
share their songs so I can add them to the list as well as it's
But
growing. But
what are your top five?
so my theme song that I always say my theme song is Fight Song by Rachel Platten. Fight
Wow.
Song by Rachel Platten. Like that's my theme song.
Oh,
And
nice.
that's and then I love the song Fix You by Coldplay.
Yep.
And I love this by Pink, the song All I Know So Far, that song by Pink. I
Yep.
love that song. And another one that's on there, I'm just looking at it now. Oh, Firework by Katy Perry.
Okay.
And then the last two I'll give you, but there's quite a bit. I Can Only Imagine by the band Mercy Me.
Yeah.
And then I love, I'm just trying to see where, because this is mixed in with other people's. I'm looking at it right now. My other favorite is, I'm trying to find it. I can't find it right now. I'll think of it. It's at the top of my um it's by Winona Judd. I can't think of it right now.
Oh,
Um but there's so many amazing songs on there, and so people have contributed some of their songs as well that have gotten them through, so I'll add them to the playlist.
yeah,
And
right.
it's an ever growing interactive playlist for us
Yeah,
all to support each other. And I just it's I just started the podcast because I wanted to just, I'm like, if I could just help one or two people, that'll be great. And it's evolved into this whole world and this whole life of its own. And now there's
yeah,
the songs, and now there's the book coming out, and there's all these things. And it's because I've allowed myself to just trust the journey
yeah,
and allow myself to be open to
yeah.
what is next for me, and to use, I talk about this in the book, like my two cousins that died, they didn't deserve that, and I am not going to let them not survive that in vain. I am going to take this horrible thing that happened to us and try and help just a few people. If I could just help a few people, I've done my job. And so I do it because of them.
Well, I have come to learn that souls come here to learn and experience things.
Hmm.
Your cousins, though young, came here to endure and experience that.
Hmm.
I know it's hard to grab on to or wrap your arms around that, but that is what I've come to know. And they are proud of you and around you,
Hmm.
helping you to continue on. They are young souls, and you are an older soul.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so funny because when you heal and you get to, because I don't, people are like, well, you're healed now. And I'm like, I never want to be healed because I'm done. That means I'm done learning and I'm done
Right,
figuring out
yeah,
what else is out there for me. So I say I'm never going to be healed. I'm
right,
continuing my healing journey
right,
forever
right, yeah,
because I love it. I love my healing journey, and I love, like, I wouldn't have been able to talk to you about this 2 years ago like
right,
this. There,
yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to, but now I can talk about this, and I'm so open to what's next. I'm like, what's next for me? What's next for me? Use me, you know, and
right,
and so it's opened up so many doors, and it's been so healing for myself. And I'm not saying everybody needs to start a podcast and tell the world their story, like I do, but you'll find your path. You'll find your path, and it might just be the silence of your own home, like writing in your journal. Where's my journal? Might just be in the silence of your own home, writing in your journal. It could be just that
yeah,
simple, or just meditation or prayer. And that's fine. That's all you need. You don't have to go to this big extreme like I have, and you've got your
right,
show and everything. But you just kind of kind of you need to surrender, I guess. Surrender to the universe.
That is it. Yes.
Yeah.
In whatever form that means. I want to go back to the music
Hmm.
selection. The songs that came to me in the beginning of my enlightenment and healing, and then halfway to now, totally
Hmm.
different. Other than when I am off the track, a song comes back reminding me.
Yes.
So,
It hits different,
for,
right?
yes, for me, it is the Eagles song Desperado.
Oh, yes. Yes, we're all desperados, aren't we? We are.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to
Thank
add
you.
that. I'm going to add that to the set list because that's an important song to me too, and I forgot about it. And it's funny that song. Do you know the song I mentioned? I Can Only Imagine by Mercy Me.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
beautiful song, and for years
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
listened to it, I was very emotional listening to that song because I think I had a little fear in me because what is life going to be like when I meet God and things like that, and I was scared. I was more afraid of it than anything. Now when
We
I listen to it,
all
I'm
are.
like, it hits me so different because I'm just in a
Yeah.
different stage
Oh,
of mind. And so when you hear songs now, it changes their meaning. And I love
yes.
that about music and art because it's all on interpretation.
Yes.
And and it's funny too because once you start like doing the healing work, and I don't mean to say this to sound negative, but I think you'll understand where I'm going with this. Now that I've done the work, I could be in a room and I could look at somebody across the room and I could be like, "Oh, they've done no work. They've
Yes.
done zero work.
Oh,
They don't have to say a word. They don't
yeah.
have to move. They don't have
Yes.
to anything." And I could just spot them a mile away now because,
Yes.
and it's not out of that
Their
they're in this,
energy.
yes, they're like in this,
Energy. Just.
yes, yes.
Yes.
And it's funny because you look, and I'm not saying that because I don't think I'm better than anybody by any
No.
means, but I'm like, they
Right.
have I feel like saying to them, you have so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
Just, you have so much to look
Yeah.
forward to. Just do it. Go for it. Like, what are you
Yeah.
afraid of? And I don't, of course, because people would think I was a nut job. I don't go up to
Yeah.
strangers and say that, but I'm so aware and alert of that,
Mm,
now,
yeah.
where before I would allow people like that into my life. Like
Oh,
they say you
yes.
are as strong as the 3 to 5 people that are closest to you in your life. And it's so true. And I would have broken people in my life that would
Oh,
never create space for me to do my own healing.
right.
Because everything's a reflection, right?
It is. Oh my God. That is the perfect comment.
Hmm.
So, I used to say to my siblings, we are a reflection of our friends.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about my sister and her friends and kind of snubbing my nose at them. But now I realize all the many friends I had
Mm-hmm.
when I was broken,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all gone.
Yep.
And I have three, four, five friends total. I'm like, okay,
That's
this
perfect.
is, it is,
Yeah.
it is.
And it's funny
They,
because trauma survivors, when you have your circle of friends, you put up with so much crap from people.
yeah,
A lot, you get treated like you get taken advantage of. You get
yeah,
treated like garbage, and you put up with it. You put up with it because you don't have that value, that self-worth for yourself.
and those people are equally as hurt,
Hmm. Yeah.
damaged.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're all struggling with something.
yeah,
But it's hard. Like that was hard for me when people would just kind of fall out of my life and things like that. But I knew at that point, I'm like, it's for a reason. I'm trusting it. It's,
yeah,
I feel that exit of that energy from me. And
yeah.
it really at the end of the day becomes a blessing.
It is 100%.
Hmm.
And if you are committed to healing, growing, you'll allow people to go
Yeah.
and allow and welcome people in
Hmm.
who are at your energetic
Yes.
level.
100, 1,000%.
Yeah.
A thousand
Yes.
percent.
Okay. We are beyond our
I know, I'm sorry.
time. No, I am. What would you like? Okay. Your spirit team has been here the entire time. You know that. What is your final message to people who will hear you?
I said it before a little bit. I just want people to know that healing is scary. It's a scary journey, but you owe it to yourself. You can't afford not to do it. And like I said, you've already been through the worst you're going to go through. You can handle it. So you owe it to yourself to give yourself that space and that time to do it. And it really doesn't take much. Once you go in and you're like you surrender to it, it happens pretty quickly. It happens, and with before you know it, your life, you're seeing things so different, like almost like you're from the outside looking in. I'm a very different person than I was 2 years ago. Um, so I just want people to know that if this is resonating at all with you, if you're even thinking about this, look in the mirror and realize that you are a rock star. You're a trauma rock star. You've got this. You've got people like you and I that can give you levels of support if you need it. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. I suppressed this for 40 years.
Thank you for listening. If today's conversation resonated with you and you're ready to explore your own healing journey or intuitive gifts, I'd love to work with you. I offer psychic medium readings, energy healing sessions, and intuitive development guidance at shariroberts.org. And if you're not quite ready for a session, but want to be a part of the conversation in a supportive community, join my private Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Shari Leigh Roberts. Until next time, remember, you're never alone.